Are you staying home? Are you staying safe? If yes, well, that's good. Take care of your family and dear ones around you by creating social distances and washing your hands regularly. We will succeed, says Queen in her historical speech, and UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson admitted to hospital. The Queen has delivered a historic stirring address to the nation during the coronavirus lockdown. Invoking a wartime spirit, the 93-year-old monarch told Britons, "We will succeed," adding that better days will return. In the extraordinary televised speech, only the fourth the Queen has given during the time of crisis, she thanked NHS staff and key workers while emphasizing the important role individuals can play. Recording the first address she made at just 14 years old in 1940 to wartime evacuees, she said, "Today, once again, many will feel a painful sense of separation from their loved ones, but now as then we know deep down that it is the right thing to do." NHS staff inside the newly built Nightingale Hospital watched the Queen deliver her speech. They thanked the Queen for recognizing their hard work throughout the coronavirus outbreak. On the other hand, Prime Minister Boris Johnson was admitted to hospital on Sunday for tests. Johnson's office said the admission to an undisclosed London hospital came on the advice of his doctor and was not an emergency. The Prime Minister's Downing Street office said it was a precautionary step and Johnson remains in charge of the government. Johnson, 55, has been quarantined in his Downing Street residence since being diagnosed with COVID-19 on March 26, the first known head of government to fall ill with the virus. Johnson has continued to preside at daily meetings on Britain's response to the outbreak and has released several video messages during his 10 days in isolation. In a message on Friday, a flushed and red-eyed Johnson said was feeling better but still had fever. The virus causes mild to moderate symptoms in most people, but for some, especially older adults, it can cause pneumonia and lead to death. US President Donald Trump offered encouragement to Johnson as he opened a White House briefing on the pandemic Sunday. "All Americans are praying for him," Trump said. Johnson has received medical advice remotely during his illness, but going to a hospital means doctors can see him in person. Dr. Robert Beale, a group leader of the Cell Biology of Infection Lab and the Francis Crick Institution for Biomedical Studies, said doctors would likely be monitoring important vital signs such as oxygen saturations, as well as performing blood tests, assessing Johnson's organ function and possibly performing a CT scan on his chest to assess his lungs. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab, who has been designated to take over if Johnson becomes incapacitated, is set to lead the government's coronavirus meeting on Monday. Johnson's fiancée Carrie Simons, 32, revealed on Saturday that she spent a week in bed with coronavirus symptoms. Though she wasn't tested, Simons, who was pregnant, said she was now on the mend. She has not been staying with the Prime Minister in Downing Street since his diagnosis. The government said on Sunday that almost 48,000 people have been confirmed to have COVID-19 in UK and 4,934 have died. Johnson replaced Theresa May as Conservative Prime Minister in July and won a resounding election victory in December on the promise to complete Britain's exit from the European Union. But Brexit, which became official January 31, has been overshadowed by coronavirus pandemic sweeping the globe. Johnson's government was slower than those in some European countries to impose restrictions on daily life in response to the pandemic, leading his critics to accuse him of complacency. He imposed an effective nationwide lockdown on March 23, but his government remains under huge pressure to boost the country's number of hospital beds and ventilators and to expand testing for the virus. London has been the center of outbreak in the UK, and politicians and civil servants have been hit hard. Several other members of Johnson's government had also tested positive for the virus, including Health Secretary Matt Hancock and Junior Health Minister Nadine Dorries. Both have recovered. News of Johnson's admission to the hospital came an hour after Queen Elizabeth made a rare televised address to the nation in which she urged Britons to remain united and resolute in the fight against the virus.